Recording. Hi, my name is Eli Striker, and this is my sample teaching video for math. So the first step that I'm going to do is a multi-step equation. So for example, here, you see the equation 3x minus 5 is equal to 16. So for this equation, the letter x is representing a mystery number. We do not know what the number is, but at the end of the equation, we will find out. So the first step of this equation, as you can see, says 3x minus 5 equals 16. We don't want to have any addition or subtraction symbols on either side of the equation. As you can see, it says minus 5 here. So what we're going to do is add 5, because 3x minus 5 plus 5 is 3x. But we need to keep the equation balanced, so we also have to add 5 to the other side. So we get this, 3x minus 5 plus 5 equals 16 plus 5. 3x minus 5 plus 5 is equal to 3x. 16 plus 5 is equal to 21. So from here, you get 3x equals 21. However, we don't want to know what 3x is. We just want to know what x is. So what you need to do here, 3x means the same thing as 3 times x. So in order to get x by itself, you need to then divide by 3. So to keep the equation balanced, you also need to divide by 3 on the other side. So what you get is 3x divided by 3 equals 21 divided by 3. And then if you divide both sides by 3, you get the final result of x equals 7. So you can remember this equation with a simple chant that goes add both sides, then divide, because you are adding, at first you are adding 5 to both sides, adding out both sides. And then after you get that, you are dividing. So I'm add both sides, then divide. So repeat after me, add both sides, then divide.
Add both sides, then divide.
Perfect. That is how you know how to solve a two-step equation. The next thing that we need to do is find important information in a word problem. This is a word problem that I have written out. Last year, my Netflix subscription cost me $10 per month. This year, the price of my subscription rose by 20%. How much money will I pay for Netflix this year if I subscribe for the entire year? So essentially, the important information is anything that has a number value on it, because that is how you measure the price of the Netflix subscription. So there are 3 key pieces of information that you need to know in this problem to find out the answer. The first one, as you can see, the Netflix subscription last year cost me $10 per month. That means every month that I paid for Netflix, last year I paid $10. However, this year, the price of my subscription rose by 20%. So from this information, you can get how much my Netflix costs this year every month, but you don't know how many months, but we still need to know how much I'm paying in total. So because of that, since that is a rate, we need to know how many months I'm paying. I'm paying for the entire year. Therefore, I am paying for 12 months. So from the first 2 pieces of information, you can learn that if the price was $10 per month, but it rose by 20%, the price is now $12 per month. But then this third piece of information is what you need to know to figure out the price for the entire year, because the price is now $12 per month and there are 12 months in a year. So the price is now $144 per year, because $12 per month times 12 months is 144. Next, I'm going to teach you how to distinguish different types of triangles. So as you can see, there are some blue triangles with blue dashes and some red triangles with red semicircles and squares. The dashes represent when there are 2 or 3 sides of a triangle that are equal, and the squares, or the square and the semicircles, represent the angles on the inside of the triangle. Every triangle has 3 sides and 3 angles. Tri means 3. Therefore, triangle is 3 angles. One also important thing to note is that every triangle, the angles of the triangle add up to 180 degrees. So as you can see, an equilateral triangle has 3 identical sides and also 3 identical angles. All of the angles add up are 60 degrees because they are all the same and they must add up to 180. 180 divided by 3 is 60. An isosceles triangle has 2 equal sides, which means that 2 of the angles are identical. And a scalene triangle has no equal sides, which means that none of the angles are the same. In an acute triangle, as seen on below, all 3 angles are of less than 90 degrees. An equilateral triangle is an example of an acute triangle because every angle in an equilateral triangle is 60 degrees and 60 is less than 90. A right triangle is a triangle that has one angle that adds up to exactly 90 degrees. As you can see here, there is one straight line from left to right and one straight line from up to down. When you see that, a straight line from left to right and up to down, that is called a perpendicular intersection. And at a perpendicular intersection is an angle of 90 degrees. Finally, an obtuse triangle is a triangle where there is one angle that is greater than 90 degrees. As you can see here, there's still an angle going from left to right, but the line going from up to down is diagonal, going a little bit to the right, away from the left to right line, which means that the angle is more than 90 degrees. Finally, that is how you distinguish different types of triangles. Finally, I'm going to show how to find information from a graph. So these graphs have x-axes and y-axes. An axis is a line. X-axis is a line that moves from left to right, and a y-axis is a line that moves down to up. These lines will give you information that you can learn just from looking at a graph. All of these points, these dots, correspond to a point on the x-axis and a point on the y-axis. In this graph, the x-axis represents the day of the week, and the y-axis represents the number of hot dogs sold on that day. So, for example, the dot furthest to the left, if you go down to the x-axis, you see it means Monday, and the left, if you go to the y-axis, it says 10. So from that, you can tell that 10 hot dogs were sold on Monday. The next dot to the right corresponds to Tuesday on the x-axis and to 30 on the y-axis. That means we can tell that 30 hot dogs were sold on Tuesday. The next dot is further to the right, but it's the same distance up on the y-axis, which means that it corresponds to Wednesday, and the 30 is again, which means that also on Wednesday, 30 hot dogs were sold. Similarly, 50 hot dogs were sold on Thursday and 70 hot dogs were sold on Friday. This is how you find information from a graph.